When it comes to shape-shifting, when it comes to turning into different objects, into different creatures, you can have a person that they can turn from a man to a woman. They can turn from a man to a crocodile, to an animal. They can turn into different objects. Shape-shifting is pure demonic because God did not create your bodies to be able to turn into any other creatures. Transmutation is another one. The ability to change the form of nature or an object or a person. A lot of time we talk about shape-shifting, the ability to turn into different things. You can shape-shift from one creature to another, from different things. That's something too that is purely demonic. Okay, because when it comes to shape-shifting, when it comes to turning into different objects, into different creatures, you can have a person that they can turn from a man to a woman. They can turn from a man to a crocodile, to an animal. They can turn into different objects. Shape-shifting is pure demonic because God did not create your bodies to be able to turn into any other creatures. God did not create you to change from being a human to being an object, to being an animal, to being a tree, to being anything. So when people begin to shape-shift, they are tapping into transmutation, into another realm of the demonic that you have to get supernatural powers from God to do that. I'm sure that you've watched movies and you see shape-shifting happening. Now that looks so cool, right? That looks so much fun. The CGI sometimes is dead on. It looks amazing, but it is demonic and it is evil and it is destructive. God did not create the human body to be able to transform from anything outside of just being a human. So when people begin to transform, whether it's in the movies or whether it's in person, they have tapped into a demonic supernatural ability to be able to do that. In your own strength, just from how you are, you cannot change your form. It's impossible for you to do that. So in order for you to change your form, one of the first things you got to do is mentally, you have to tap into the spirit part of you. And the way that you tap into the spirit part of you, if you are not a believer, you have to go somewhere, give access to demonic forces, give access to demons, give access to spirit beings that are not from God. You have to give them the permission to go through the process where you can change into any creature. There are people that they can turn into anything. If you haven't seen the video that I did about, Halloween, about a lady that has the ability to turn into a cat, that is real. So one of the things that you're going to notice here is the ability to mind control. Part of what witchcraft does is mind control and manipulation. Why would you want to manipulate or control the minds of people? Why would you want to do that? And why would you want your mind to be manipulated? And why would you want your mind to be controlled? Those are questions that you have to ask yourself. Again, the Bible said the eyes are the gateway to the soul. And once you allow those things to come in through your gateways, there are 10 things that's going to happen that I'm going to get to that in just a moment. Mind reading, hypnosis, telepathy, the ability to communicate thoughts directly from one mind to another. When you begin to, when you understand how the spirit realm works, in order for you to get to certain levels, because there's levels to the spirit realm, right? In order for you to get, even the people that made this movie, you gotta understand something. When you watch evil and demonic movies that's made in Hollywood, these people, they just didn't sit down and they just mysteriously come up with this script. There is an enormous process that they go through, even with the writers. If you want to be a writer in Hollywood, If you want to write horror movies, if you want to write scary movies, you have to go through a sacrificial process. There is not a single high-level writer in Hollywood that does not go through a sacrificial process, because you have to allow yourself to experience those things. People just don't write about stuff they heard. When you watch these things, they're not just writing about what they've heard. They're writing about what they have experienced firsthand. So a lot of times when people watch movies, they think that, oh, wow, that's just nice. They're so creative. That goes far beyond a creative mind. Now, part of the movie talks about a witch's coven, right? And that's a network of witches. If you watch the trailer, that's a network of witches. What do you do when you have a network? When you have a network, even if it's a network of business, a network of anything, you tap from the network. You get wisdom from that network. You get strength from that network. You get direction from that network. You get resources from that network. So part of what they're doing is, as they're going along this journey, there are several things. There's spells. They're casting spells and creating different potions. Now, all those are things that the goal of it is to control. The goal of it is to get into your soul. The goal of it is to be able to create such an atmosphere. I tell people this all the time. When you begin to consume yourself and your mind to watch horror movies, you are creating an atmosphere for the demonics to rule over your life. You're creating an atmosphere. An atmosphere is a condition that you set for certain things to happen. When you allow the gates of your eyes to watch horror movies, you are creating an atmosphere to allow demons access into your home. You're creating an atmosphere to allow demons into your kids' rooms. That's why even for me, my kids, they know this. We don't watch horror movies at home. I know sometimes that my child is sneaking when I'm not around to watch certain things, and they know. Because when you allow those things, you're saying, Mathew, how can I, allow those things just by watching? What's the big deal about, I'm just watching for entertainment. I'm just watching. Let me ask you this question. When you watch a horror movie, when those scary scenes come up, does it impact you? Now, what I mean by impact is, as you're watching it, you're going to notice that it starts to impact your soul, your perception. It starts to impact the way that you feel. Now, there are people that say things like, I can't watch a movie. I got to have the lights on after watching a movie, a horror movie. But why do you want to watch? Why do you need the lights on after watching a horror movie? See, God is, John 4:24 says this. God is a spirit, and spirit beings, whether it's God or whether it's the devil, cannot get access to our physical world just like that. They need to create what's called a bridge, what's called a portal. So as you're watching all these horror movies, as you're watching all the scary movies, you are creating a demonic portal that through the gateways of your eyes, as you begin to allow those things, they would slowly come to you.